Ladies and gentlemen, it is November 21st, 2017. Defenders of Independent Wrestling are here once again. Hollywood J. Williams along with Mr. Dangerous Dan.
And the privilege is all yours.
Privilege is all yours. We had an exciting weekend last weekend, and we're going to be getting to some more footage from Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. Great action from Feast or Fight. We have part one of our video. Part two we show a little bit next week as well, because right around the corner, December 2nd, back at the Legion Hall in Hadley, Mass, is the season finale for Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. And there's a lot going on with Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. And we're having a special call-in guest who will be calling us in about 20 minutes or so. Are you excited?
I am. I'm excited. I'm skyrocketing. I got my Hoffmania juice this morning.
Right. For the first time ever here in East Haven, Connecticut, you're going to be hearing from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Charles Katholi. Let's put it this way, he does match reports, and they're placed on social media for all the world to see. He gets the exclusive right there. He knows his stuff.
So basically, he runs wild from border to border,
right,
from coast to coast. Charles Katholi is the man with the most.
Charles Katholi is the man with the most. He's going to be... He has the knowledge that this man has, I mean, he puts us both to shame, I think.
Well, put you to shame. But then again, that's not hard, is it, Jay?
Hey, now. We have that. We have PAPW Never Give Up. We'll be getting to that next week. That's from the middle school, once again. It's one of their last shows for the year. I think they're running again December 9th, I believe, at the middle school again. So, fine folks down there with their great referee, Slick Willie, of course. Got a lot coming up. We got a Chikara coming up. Well, it already came up. Chikara. Those guys are pretty amazing. What do you think?
I think my phone's freaking out.
I think your phone's freaking out. Chikara, Enfield, Connecticut. It already happened by the time you're watching this. Kill the Moon at the Old Country Banquet Hall. But if you ever get the chance and the privilege to, it's a long... Depends on how you feel about driving to Philadelphia, but if you get the chance to get down there and experience the action firsthand at the Wrestle Factory, you got to do it. It's just it's completely amazing to see. But why don't we get to, while we're waiting for Mr. Charles to call up, why don't we get to some action? You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's hit play. How do you get the volume on this?
You're not exactly a technical wizard there, are you, bro?
Trying to get it lowered. You can't talk about that. Trying to lower the volume. What you are watching right now is the perfect gamble. One of the teams, the degenerate Dexter Lou and the American Sumo Mike Gamble, taking on the team of Old School Cool, Corey Michael, and Heck Dynamite, also known as Old School Dynamite, two of the upcoming tag teams here in Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling.
Here in Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling. Shouldn't that be there in Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling?
Well, here, there.
Because as the fans of this show know, we travel throughout the tri-state area to bring them the best in independent action, as we are the defenders of independent wrestling.
Exactly. There is Heck Dynamite. Figured this week we'd profile some teams that we don't normally profile, just something different.
Oh, great! So now you want to be a profiler?
Oh, with everybody coming out,
You're coming out? Whoa!
is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. No wonder we were riding up to Massachusetts the other night and you grabbed what you thought was the gear shift. Made me jump. Jesus.
Don't listen
Jehovah's
to
Pets.
Dan. Why is the referee?
Why is what?
What's the referee doing over there? Basically, we want to show some talent that we haven't shown yet. Is what I'm trying to get to.
I wasn't to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of this Yokozuna type guy here.
American Sumo. So that pretty much makes the perfect gamble win and go up in the tag team ranks. Just something different. We're always showing the aristocrats or the closers. Corey Michael's a great guy, though.
And there's an even great guy who can light up any party. Our good friend Matthew James.
Mm-hmm. Of course. He could make eating a tuna fish sandwich sound exciting. He could.
Great. First you just came out on TV, and now you're talking about tuna fish sandwiches. What a wild ride this is going to be today.
There we go. Here's our buddy. The Wrecking Ball, as in.
Our buddy who makes many appearances around the local area, including by the time this airs, he would have made the grand reopening at a local restaurant up in Bristol, Connecticut.
Jake's way back. Wild Me in Congo. What do you make of this Wild Me in Congo?
Well, it's Wild Man Congo. I've seen him throughout the years. I've seen him in matches here in East Haven, as a matter of fact, one time when he took on the Canadian superstar, Jay Busta.
Okay.
And he proceeded to tear Jay Busta a new one in about 30 seconds.
Right.
And he's about as big as Wrecking Ball.
The individual coming out right now.
But of course, as we know, all
fall
to the Wrecking Ball.
Well, all are supposed to fall to the Wrecking Ball.
You can tell by the way the fans in attendance are jumping to their feet when Wrecking Ball comes out that he's well respected in the independent community.
This isn't really a big place, this American Legion Hall, but it gets filled up, and the fans really get into what they say.
It does get filled up pretty quick.
Right.
So if anybody ever wants to take a trip to Hadley,
right, about an hour and a half drive from East Haven.
Just make sure your co-host or co-pilot knows how to set the GPS.
And make sure you get there early.
And they do have a after shows party.
Right.
If you wish to have a personal meet and greet with any of the talent on the show.
Right. And during the intermission, they're always available to talk to and sign autographs and what have you.
And so there are various exclusive wear what you can only get from them.
Mm-hmm.
As we can see here, Congo's just smacked a good one on Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball returns the favor.
Some familiar faces are going to play a major role in this match. Just have to wait and see.
Wrecking Ball looks like he's trying to get himself and the crowd pumped up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that guy
Who's
looks
that
familiar.
handsome fella there? Like I said. See, one-on-one, I think Wrecking Ball could probably take Wild Man Congo. But when you have a team with an identity crisis, so to speak, if you follow independent wrestling in the different companies, I mean, you see them in one gimmick in one place, you see them in another gimmick in another place.
And we see them go one-on-one against each other.
Right. For now, we'll just call them the Jurassic Era, as this is Pioneer Valley.
Congo scales the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Comes off with a big splash.
Uh-huh. But it takes 3 guys to put down the massive Wrecking Ball Legursky.
You like 3 guys, huh? That burger place.
5 guys.
Oh, you like 5 guys. Okay, sorry.
Three guys to take down the massive wrecking ball Lugursky.
Well, it takes that many people to hold him down.
This is according to Charles, who will be calling in about 5 minutes. This was an especially violent match with Jurassic era bashing Lugursky with a chair multiple times.
Looks like Congo may be getting into it with a fan over there.
Right. Has he been known to do that?
Well, I don't know if I'd want to test the waters against Congo. He probably outweighs the both of us put together.
Easily. A rather disappointed wrecking ball. And now, the third match here. We'll save the best for last. We'll be putting some more matches up on our group page on Facebook, and we'll have some more next week. Fabian defending the PvP Women's Championship against Nikki Adams.
And of course, our Facebook page and YouTube address for those folks just joining in to the show for the first time is...
You can find our Facebook group page entitled The Squared Circle. You can find us on YouTube, The Squared Circle TV. Nikki Adams, we've seen her in PvP once before. Right out of New York. New York City to Hadley's got to take about 2 or 3 hours at least.
Here's not America's Sweetheart.
And this is not America's Sweetheart. She doesn't need to be America's Sweetheart.
No, I've seen her smack you around a couple times.
She'd smack you around a couple times, too. She'd smack anybody around a couple times.
And there in the background is the lovely Joanna Robinson.
Mm-hmm. She could be America's Sweetheart.
That she could.
Not Davy Ann. Davy Ann's not the friendly type of girl. Not the girl you'd want to bring home to meet mom and dad. Nikki Adams, like I said, out of New York. Good friends with Kieran Q. Asian Invasion. Fabian won the PvP Women's Championship from Skylar back September 10th at the Eastfield Mall in Springfield, Massachusetts. But coming up soon, they'll be facing each other yet again.
Well, not too soon, Jay.
Not too soon. We'll get to that a little bit later on. And here we go. And here we go with our phone call. We Charles Katholi.
Hello, Jason. How you doing today?
Very good. Very good. How are you?
Not bad. Well, I'm on the squared circle today. What would you like to talk about first? We got a bunch of stuff we can talk about today.
The man, the myth, the legend.
The man is here. For those who don't know, this is the man that files match reports for Pioneer Valley Wrestling, for Blitzkrieg Pro Wrestling. Knowledge, great information from this guy, Charles, as always. Ernest K. Fabian.
Always Ernest K. Fabian, brother.
Always. Right now, as we're talking to you, we are showing Davey Ann versus Nikki Adams from last Saturday.
Oh, yes.
Easter fight. We are actually watching you right now take a photo of it.
Okay, yeah.
As you can see, viewers of the show, Charles likes to get inside those ropes for those good tight up shots.
Right.
Well, I'm very careful about that. You know, I try to make sure that they're on the other side of the ring. I don't know when they're going to be leaping out on me. So I've had to drop and roll a few times to avoid taking some blows. But you know, for the most part, I'm fast on my feet and I'm really careful, and I just try to get the best shots I can. Of course, inspired by Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, and you know, hope they turn out right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fans like them, and a lot of the wrestlers like them because they use them.
Right.
And even some of the promoters like them. But, you know, and I love doing it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Well, you mentioned you were inspired by Pro Wrestling Illustrated Wrestling magazine. How and when did you get started taking footage of the shows?
Well, you know, when I found my first indie match in Western Mass, it was just by accident. I just kind of stumbled on it, and it was for New Age Old Time Wrestling. So I went to the show, and I hadn't been to a wrestling show in years, and I'd never been ringside, but I managed to get a ringside seat for that show, and it just blew me away. I mean, just the talent of the wrestlers was amazing, and it was just, they had a great roster, and it was a very entertaining show, and I had regretted that day that I hadn't brought my camera with me. And then just, you know, I decided that I was just going to go to every indie wrestling show in Western Mass I could find, and so I started going to, you know, all the shows I could find, like Revival Pro and Hawa, and of course Pioneer Valley Pro when it started, and took over from New Age Old Time Wrestling. And you know, I just got into the photography, and then about after a year after that, I started doing the match reports, and that was totally inspired by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. But I wanted to take it a step higher and do more detailed match reports that made you feel more like you were actually there. And that's what I do now.
Right. And yeah, exactly. It's like on-site reporting. You can't get any better than you or us with our video footage. It's like you were really there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I kind of worry about it now and then because they got this new guy, Alex Cipher. He's with the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission.
Right. He's going to be playing.
Division.
Well, we're showing this match here between Davey Ann and Nikki Adams. He plays sort of a role in what happens later.
Well, he played a role in what happened to become earlier on the card because you had that mixed match between Skyler and new Retro Malice.
Right.
And, you know, he had walked up and spoken to the referee before that match, and apparently they weren't licensed to hold a mixed match, to hold an intergender match. So PvP will be fine for that. And I asked Alex Cipher, you know, what after the match what that was about, and he told me exactly what that was about, and PvP indeed will be fined for that infraction for holding an intergender match without obtaining the proper permit.
So they need permits for basically everything.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, Alex Cipher is, you know, he seems to be very much a stickler for the rules and regulation. I mean, you see him in there, and he's dusting off the ring ropes and tightening the turnbuckles, and he's measuring the distance between the chairs, and he's measuring the distance between the ring and the chairs.
He's
and
measuring the
writing it all
distance
down.
between the. What difference does it make?
Well, apparently Massachusetts has very strict rules about these things. Now, I wasn't aware of this, and until and I'm not even sure how long the position of Massachusetts Athletic State Commission exists. I can't even say it all. It's just such a
Massachusetts State Athletic Commission.
I know. It's just so wordy.
And this guy's with the
Anyway.
pro wrestling division of it.
I know. And then there's a pro wrestling division. So it's obviously a large bureaucracy, and I'm thinking that Alex Seifert probably had some wrestling experience, and that's probably how he got the job. In Massachusetts, it's all a patronage system. It's you want to get a job like that, it's all about who you know. So he obviously has some friends and some highly placed
Sounds sort of
friends.
familiar, huh, Dan? Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, this guy's getting paid a lot of money to come in
Taxpayers.
by the taxpayers
Most likely, yes.
of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to come in and measure distance between chairs and measure the tightness of ring ropes. And he just came out of nowhere.
Well, he's been around since late summer. I believe the first place I saw him was at the second show at that place in Southwick, Mass, whose name escapes me right off the top of my
The Cove.
head. If either of you guys can remember the name of that place.
The Cove. The Cove.
The Cove, yeah. Yep,
Right.
Cove. And that's the first place I saw him. And then I saw him again, I believe it was at the first Eastfield Mall show, which was a terrific show, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so upset the second time I saw him. I almost wanted to walk away and what is this guy doing here? I mean, he's just here. He's going to spoil everybody's fun with his rules and his rulers and his, who needs it? And here again, I respect his position. I just don't want to see Pioneer Valley Pro get ruined.
Yeah, we don't want to see any company go out of business.
Yeah, especially, from the weight of being fined over and over and over again. That's just, nobody wants to see that. Everybody I know who goes to PvP is like a big family, the PvP family, and, there's just, total fan loyalty with PvP. It would just crush everybody.
Absolutely. We love going up there. We've been going up there for a couple of years now. And for it to have to come to an end because I don't know if somebody's like telling this guy to find any little thing about PvP wrestling that you see, go after him. I don't really. I mean, go up to Massachusetts other than PvP wrestling, but I've never heard of any other companies having to deal with the pro wrestling division of the Massachusetts State Athletic Commission, though.
Well, I hear he's getting around. I know he was invited to a Blitzkrieg show in Enfield, and that's not even Massachusetts. That's Connecticut.
Right.
At the moment, I think that the fans and that the promoters just need to play it, wait and see what comes of all this. At this point, I can't even predict. So,
Right.
we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I just know that the guy is there and that he's been finding PvP for small infractions and that they're adding up. And he's a bit dour and humorless, but, I mean, all in all, I know that he has the safety of the wrestlers and the fans in mind. So
Right.
you at least have to respect his position on that.
To interrupt you for a second, Davey Ann just retained the belt. And now we're seeing Skylar come out and basically... Have you ever seen Skylar this upset before?
I've never seen Skylar do anything like that before, ever. She is one of the sweetest woman wrestlers on the scene, very accessible to the fans.
Oh, absolutely.
She must be really, really upset because I have never seen her react that way. And, she's suspended for the next show as well as Jeremy Leary.
Right, because here we see in this light brown shirt coming into the ring right now is the aforementioned Alex Cipher, and he's trying to keep the peace here. He's trying to stop Skylar from maybe obliterating Davey Ann right there. And Jeremy Leary's, of course, by his girlfriend, Skylar.
Of course, he's going to stand by her side and support
Absolutely.
her whatever he does.
This could be... Now you see... now she just struck Alex Cipher.
Well, there's the suspension right there. That's it. You don't strike a state official like that. That's serious business.
Right.
You know? And that's assault. I'm very, very surprised at this behavior from Skylar. I never would have imagined that.
Just
Skylar
the heat of the moment. And now it looks like Leary has Alex Cipher backed into the corner right now.
And he's also putting his hands on Alex Cipher.
Right, and Alex Cipher has his badge out, his MSAC badge, Massachusetts State Athletic Commission. This is where now Alex Cipher was right next to our video camera taking notes the whole time. We don't have it on camera, but you'll hear a loud thud, and it's Alex Cipher like taking his notebook and slamming it to the ground. And he left in disgust right after that.
You know, I was so tempted when he was out of the room and that notebook was open to try to get a photograph of one of the pages of the notebook, but I chickened out at the last minute. And I would have had time to do it too, because he didn't come in till a minute or so after I had chickened out. I just, for my own, to know what he's writing down, it would just really, really interest me to read some of these infractions that he's finding PvP for. And,
are they infractions, or is it just, if you looked at his notebook, could it have been a grocery list?
Well, and here again, I didn't really get a chance to look at the notebook, but every time he sees something he doesn't like, he gets a little scowl on his face and he writes it down, and you can tell his eyes get squinty and he gets a little frown, and his eyes sometimes will bug out a little bit because he doesn't like what he's seeing. There's been more than one case. I mean, ever since he was first appeared at the Cove, I've been noticing that, and so anyway. Leary and Skylar are suspended for assaulting, Alex Cipher, and so we won't see them at the next PvP. I don't know when they'll be back. I hate to, not see them back for a while, but you just don't know how long the suspension is for. Hopefully it'll be announced at the next show. And now, let me ask you guys a question. Have you noticed how deep the tag team roster is for PvP right now? They must have like a dozen teams, and they're all good.
We just showed old school cool versus the Perfect Gamble.
Yeah, and that was a good match. And let me tell you, I mean, there's the ECBC, there's the lockup, all four members, there's the closers, there's the aristocrats, there's Jurassic Era, there's the masterminds. We'll see how much longer they'll be around. And of course, there's the Dexter Lou, and there's Gamble, and then there's the old school Dynamite.
Right.
And then there's some newer teams such as TK Luther the Fifth and Brian Balmer, and then the last show we saw Johnny Torres with a new guy, Chris Benet. So I mean, I think at this point that PvP has probably the deepest tag team roster of any promotion in Massachusetts, which I think that really pushes the tag team belts for PvP as being really, really important belts, because so many teams are competing for them. I mean, you're talking about at least a dozen teams on the roster right now. And that's probably the deepest tag team roster I've ever seen for PvP, or for that matter for any indie promotion in quite a while. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm glad to see more teams coming to the forefront, because I mean, masterminds are great, aristocrats are great, closers are great. We love them, but
we love to hate them.
We love to hate them in some cases. But it's good to see some fresh teams come to the forefront. What do you think, Dan?
Well, it's always good to see fresh new faces into the mix. It gives you a fresh matchups, some better views of the upcoming talent, the new interactions.
Right.
But we've got to wonder about this Alex Cipher guy. What's going to happen with him?
Oh, yeah. Maybe he'll say there's too many tag teams. Let's hope not.
Let's hope not, because right now, I mean, the tag team scene with PvP is just where it's at.
Right.
They just have the depth of roster, and that just makes it just elevates those titles to just the next level, just such a higher level. And I'm the man that designed them, so there you go.
Yes, I was getting to that. You were the man that designed the PvP Tag Team Championships. You designed all the belts for PvP, did you not?
All of them.
All of them.
Yep.
Now,
the heavyweight championship which has evolved from the time I originally donated to the promotion, and then I designed and donated the tag belts, and then finally the women's belt, which seems to have held up the best as far as physically held up the best.
Right.
They take a lot of bumps, those belts.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm especially proud of the women's belt, because I just tried to come up with an original concept of the Harlequin, and I was totally inspired by Mecca, who's no longer wrestling, unfortunately.
now,
Her love of the character of Harley Quinn from Batman comics, her love of that character totally inspired me to design the women's belt. And it's, good to see a lot of different women getting to hold it. And hopefully I'll be able to get my picture taken with Mrs. Grumpy Pants soon with the belt.
Davey Ann, of course. Yeah,
Mrs.
the whole women's division's evolved, too, over the last year, and we've seen faces come and go. Like you said.
Much deeper.
Right. Mecca's no longer involved with wrestling.
No, it's very sad, but she's gone.
Right. And
now, Charles, speaking of being involved, as many of our Facebook viewers, members, guests will know, you are a moderator on the Squared Circle page on
I am
Facebook.
now a moderator, correct.
Right.
Added by Robert.
And
Yes.
we have a new member just joined this morning while you were on the air. And according to this new member, Jim Kuliak.
Jim Kulick, yes.
Kulick. He would say, would like to listen to your discussion with Charles Katholi Jr. This gentleman is awesome, taking pics of all PvP events, and a great person. How would be able to listen?
Oh, thanks, Jim. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very kind words from Jim Kulick. Thank you, Jim. Yep, I know Jim personally. I added him. He was interested in joining, and Jim's a natural to be a member of the Squared Circle page. So he's one of the biggest PvP fans out there. He shouts louder than anybody. I mean, he shouts louder than Larry, than anybody I can think of who's a PvP fan at ringside. And, you never see Jim not at ringside, not sitting right up front, shouting louder than anybody. Yeah, thanks, Jim, man. You're the man. You're the man. Thanks for supporting Ernest K, Fabian.
As we all do.
As we all do. Yep, even though they don't all admit it, they all read it.
Everybody reads it.
Everybody reads it.
Right.
Not many of them admit they read it, but they do. And they enjoy it, too, I hope. And that's why I do it, because I want the fans to read it and enjoy it. And if they couldn't make it, I want them to feel like they were there.
Absolutely. You cover not only PvP, but you cover Blitzkrieg as well?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I also covered Ascension.
And Ascension, of course.
Very good promotion, Ascension. Matthew John, the promoter, is a great guy. I love going to his shows.
We've had J.J. Alexander, Jimmy Mias here in East Haven recently, too.
Okay, yep. They're both an important part of that promotion. They both manage their respective teams and have been feuding for quite a few years now. But I always enjoy going down to Ascension and seeing all the guys I don't see anywhere else and covering their events. And I'm looking to expand a little. Get out more. There's some events here and there that I've been thinking about covering. It's just a matter of having a regular job and the time and the money and this and that. But as things involved, I'll probably be heading out more towards eastern Massachusetts and maybe a little further south into Connecticut.
Right, because there's actually tonight, as we're recording this, we are headed to Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling for Never Give Up at the Joseph Malillo Middle School. That, of course, is ran by none other than Mario Mancini and Paul Roma.
Oh yeah.
And Big Steve Tracy. You are familiar with the product, of course. And,
I am very familiar with the product. Yep. Very much so. But I will give a quick plug that Chikara Pro Wrestling will be this Sunday in Enfield at the Old Country Banquet Hall, and that's in Enfield on Alden Avenue. And that'll be Sunday afternoon, by around 2:30 in the afternoon, I believe. And
right. This is going to air after that happened already. But were you planning to be in attendance
to the Shakar show?
Yes.
Possibly. I'm not 100% sure yet. I didn't find out about it till late, and I may have some other plans already booked.
Right.
But I'm hoping I might be able to make it for that Sunday afternoon. But I'm not 100% sure yet. But I would love to go because Chikara puts out an excellent product. I've been to one Chikara event. It was really good. And, of course, Leary's wrestling, so how could I miss it?
You can't really miss it if Leary's wrestling.
Oh, I know, man. He's, how that guy keeps from getting injured all the time. I mean, because he just takes some of the biggest risks, I think, of anybody that I ever see in the ring. But, that's just a testament to his skill, I guess. And Skylar's right up there with him. So.
I remember Leary jumping off the gazebo at the Cove.
Oh, yeah. Who will ever forget that one, man? That was the most death-defying thing I've seen him do.
Right.
They actually had to get some extra bodies under there to keep him from breaking his neck.
Oh, no.
So.
And Skylar, she's just as death-defying as he is.
Yep, right. And she can hang with the big boys. If anybody can hang with the big boys, it's Skylar. I mean, she just has it. She has it. That unquantifiable it. That's the difference between just another wrestler and a superstar.
When you're a girl and you can wrestle the guys, I mean.
I know. That's automatic superstar status, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So anyway, brothers.
Anyway.
It was great talking to you.
It was great talking to you.
And it looks like you guys are about to wrap the show up soon, so let me let you go, and let me just give you this closing statement. Ernest K. Fabian lives, babies.
Ernest K. Fabian lives. One of these days, we'll get to see you in person down here.
I hope to come down and do a show with you sometime live.
We'd love to have you.
We'll have to treat you to what a real pizza's like.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, now that you're on Saturdays, it's much more possible for that to happen. So get in touch and let me know, and maybe I'll come down on Saturday sometime very soon.
Okay. Yeah. We'll definitely be in touch.
Okay. Take care.
Take it easy and have a happy Thanksgiving if we don't talk to you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Ernest K. Fabian.
The one and only.
The one and only.
We hear a lot about this Jeremy Leary. He likes to say he has the best hair in professional wrestling. We know you take a lot of pride in your hair there.
He has the best hair in professional wrestling because I'm not a professional wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because if I was a professional wrestler, I'd have the best hair in professional wrestling.
All right. So that pretty much sums that up.
Of course. There's no better than Hollywood J. I have the best hair on public access wrestling.
On public access TV, that's right.
Exactly. So we're under 10 minutes here.
In the next show, of course, we will be having the results and from the show we will be attending tonight at the Joseph Malillo Middle School, which is to benefit the Camp Rising Sun. Never Give Up from our good friends at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling.
Right. We've got an early start there, too.
We do. It's a special 5 o'clock, and it's going to go till 7:30.
5 to 7:30. We're gonna be afterwards. We're gonna be bored or whatever.
or whatever.
We're gonna have nothing to do or whatever.
But we still have plenty to do now. We'd like to send out a special birthday wishes to our good friends.
What?
CJ Cruz.
AJ Cruz.
AJ Cruz. He's a good
AJ
friend, and I
Cruz.
screwed up his name. Way to go.
Right.
To AJ Cruz, as well as, all right, Dan, you're not technically aware with it? Up to date today? Oh,
Brian Malonis is coming up this week, too.
Brian Malonis also has a birthday,
The Kingpin.
as well as the legendary wrestling historian, Mr. Tom Burke, has a birthday coming up this week.
Mm-hmm.
And if we'd like to invite the viewers of the show out there, if you have a special occasion, a anniversary, wedding, birthday, so forth, coming up, to let us know. Shoot us an email, or post it on our Facebook page, The Squared Circle, and we'll mention it here live on the air for you.
Live and in Technicolor, or in not in black and white. We're not doing the black and white thing anymore.
Well, now the black and white was just an experiment.
Right.
We'd like to throw a surprise in there every once in a while for the fans to keep you on your toes.
Mm-hmm. Just to keep things interesting.
Oh, you gotta
stay ahead of the game.
Exactly.
And Big Event Podcast still being worked on. It'll be ready before the next big event in March.
Says this guy.
It's not gonna take too long. It's just a matter of getting audio edited and put onto either Podbean or iTunes or something like that. You'll be informed as soon as it's done.
But as soon as it's locked and loaded,
right,
and ready to go,
right,
you'll be the first to know.
Be the first to know, and also tune into ETV coming up real soon. Date and time to be determined for Good News Now, and our special exclusive look at the Native American Museum at Foxwoods. That was an experience.
It's always an experience going with you to Foxwoods, bro. Whether or not we can keep you away from the liquid refreshment area
The
long
Hard
enough
Rock.
is,
We love the Hard Rock.
right.
Hollywood J loves the Hard Rock. Your life, you bet. What is with you and your phone this week?
Hey, I am the computerized man. Let me tell you, I've had this smartphone for a couple of years now,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking of launching a lawsuit
Why?
because it's false advertising. I've had this for a couple of years now, and I haven't grown any smarter.
You don't look any smarter.
Well, thank you.
You don't even have glasses. At least
Jay, what's the name of this book?
chair shots. What's the name of this book? Controversy Creates Cash.
And we saw Mr. Eric Bischoff at the recent big event we attended.
Yes, we did. Recently.
And I understand our good friend Brian Barth is in negotiations with some key wrestling icons.
Some key wrestling icons. Mm-hmm.
We won't announce any names now until they're official. We don't want to ruin any surprises. But indeed, one of the ones will be for wrestling fans from way back from the 70s and 80s. You're going to find it on there, bro.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking at a gentleman who's actually
You're looking at a gentleman?
That's actually called.
You're scaring. Okay, he's scaring me this week. First, he's telling me he's coming out. Then he's looking at a gentleman. Then he's scaring me.
You remember Richie?
Mr. Producer, he's scaring me.
Richie did the Di Gregorio. He's a vendor at the big event, RDP Productions. is basically announcing his guests already. One of them happens to be the daughter of the legendary Paul Ellering, Rachel Ellering. So you'll be able to stop by his table at the big event on March 10th and meet Rachel Ellering, of course. And, of course, you'll also be having from Impact Wrestling, or formerly Brooke Tessmacher. So the big event is already shaping up to be a big event.
As they say, all roads lead to the big event.
All roads lead to the big event. And we'll be back there with a table. And we'll have another guest.
I got to sit with you again?
You have to sit with me again.
I don't know if that's I don't know, buddy.
But are you going to be able to count the money the right way this time? Instead of it's like shortchanging when somebody.
Hey, listen, when I count the change, one for them and two for me, it works out very well in my favor.
Well, they do the combo and they give you 50. You're supposed to give them 30 back, not 20.
Like I said, one for them, two for me. It works well. I had a good time that evening.
Right. I happened to see KM on Impact Wrestling.
See, now you're hooked. See?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he gave a convincing argument.
Right.
To watch Impact Wrestling again.
Right, and once again, to watch Impact Wrestling is not disparaging to any WWE fans, as Impact Wrestling is and has often stated they are just another alternative.
Although I'm a little depressed.
About what now?
Gail Kim.
Well, that's okay. Gail had her time in the sunlight.
Yeah.
Spotlight. And
she could have actually packed it in a couple years ago, but she's just been around because she loved the business so much.
Right, but eventually the injuries and so forth catch up to you, and she wants to concentrate more on her family life with her husband, Robert Irvine.
Robert Irvine. Right.
I've watched this show, and let me tell you.
She could actually even open up her own school if she wanted.
She could. And she could
train females.
And we'd be more than happy to invite her here to our show.
Right.
And we could introduce her to our fellow friends in the areas, such as our good friends at Center Ring.
Right.
Who we encourage you to tune in, watch their show. And
Thursday nights at 7:30 for those of you that live in Wallingford, Connecticut, WPAA, and Channel 99 for Frontier. If you tune in Thursday night at 7:30 and you scroll to Wallingford Public Access, you'll be able to see the Fogman and Big Daddy and Mario Mancini, of course, on Center Ring.
And they are, of course, also on YouTube.
On YouTube
for
at
people who
Center Ring.
Right.
Or Mike or the Fogman.
Right.
He has his own private YouTube channel too, I understand.
And now tonight we're off to see another great show from Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, and as we mentioned earlier, we will have results and footage from that show for you fans to tune in and watch next week.
Next week. That with PvP Part 2. And possibly another call-in guest.
And if we don't see you folks around town before then,
happy Thanksgiving.
Indeed.
That's a wrap.